Joining us now is one of the best we have in the U.S. Senate, Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, welcome to the program. Senator, I first want to talk about the election. President Trump won the state of Wisconsin nearly by as much as you won your reelection, by the way. It was almost the exact same number. I was looking at it the other day. Unfortunately, Eric Hovde fell short, and there was definitely some unusual activity with late-night ballot dumping in Milwaukee. What is your reaction to the Eric Hovde race? It looked as if he was trending great, and then Milwaukee did what Milwaukee does. Your reaction, Senator Johnson?
Well, first of all, that Tuesday night was triumphant when Wisconsin sank the putt that won the President's Cup for President Trump. So it was a lot of fun being there on the ground. We're the ones that put him over the top. And we were very hopeful with Eric Hovde. The difference is President Trump was up by enough votes to, withstand the ballot dump from Milwaukee Central Count. Now, what I can say is, when we came into the election night party there, with all the data folks, I got there and we found out that Central Count had not secured the tabulator machines. There's a door in the back. It's supposed to be locked and sealed. There's no procedure to make sure that happens. So 2:00 in the afternoon, a Republican election observer observed that. They stopped the counting. They'd already tabulated 30,000 ballots. They segregated those. So myself and the chairman of the Republican Party of Wisconsin went down there, talked to RNC lawyers, to our election observers, got a handle on what the situation was. We knew that as a result of that, it was going to take them longer and they were going to have a late night ballot dump. But I will say that our observers were very confident that the count was going to be accurate. What was feeding into this is the head of the Democrat Party of Wisconsin the day before had been on MSNBC saying that we're going to see this red mirage early in the evening, and then early in the morning, we're going to overtake them, the blue wave. Or, it's just like you couldn't say something that reduced confidence in the election more than he did. And plus, we had slow counts in, I think, Racine and Green Bay. So it just creates suspicion. My concern, again, I think it was an accurate count. I think in the end, Eric Hovde realized, he could rerun the ballots. You're going to get the same count. The concern in Wisconsin is how many illegitimate votes are there? Were there illegal aliens? Have the Democrats developed a system for registering voters that either don't exist or voting for people that never vote? I mean, that we don't have a handle on that. And in order to challenge somebody, you've got to do it individually, individual registration by individual registration. It's almost impossible to do. So what we need to do is we need to do a post-election audit. I would love to have RNC lawyers pay attention to this because, Charlie, we've got a crucial Wisconsin Supreme Court election here in April that we must win. If we don't, the court is forever, in my lifetime, probably going to be led by radical left judicial activists, and we may never have an opportunity to win the 10 electoral votes in Wisconsin again or ever get a U.S. Senate seat. So it's crucial we understand what happened. We have wards that are voting at a higher, more than 100% versus registered voters, but we have same-day registration. So it's entirely possible, but we just never do the post-election audits in detail to determine, okay, these are the people that voted. Is it a legitimate vote or not? When I entered politics in 2010, the basic meme was, well, every Republican candidate is going to start at a X% disadvantage because Democrats cheat. It's just like kind of an accepted reality. I don't know what that percentage is. I'm not sure that's true. But what I do know is we need to audit the results we need to be dedicated to auditing the results because it never happens. Once the election's done, it's certified and people move on. And let's face it, for the political consultants, there's no money in auditing these results. So we need to do that.
Yeah. So just two points here that I think is really important, Senator. The first of which is that I don't doubt that if we do a recount, the results would be nearly the same. The point of which is who filled out these ballots and what was the chain of custody. Can you elaborate on that, Senator? Because a recount is just recounting the actual ballots in the system. The question is, where did they come from? And was the person who is actually assigned to that ballot the designee, the person who filled it out?
Right. So the chain of custody, once those absentee ballots are received, we're pretty confident of that. Again, we've got observers there. It worked in 2022. Again, the hiccup here was they didn't have the back of those tabulators sealed, so they had to start the process all over again. I made sure that they maintained the record of the 30,000 ballots to make sure those counts would be accurate. We haven't seen the results of that. But again, in the end, our observers believe that that was an accurate count and those ballots were accounted for. What we don't know is the person who filled out that absentee ballot, is that a legitimate voter? Is that an illegal alien using a driver's license in Wisconsin? Now, you can't really distinguish whether that's a citizen or not a citizen when they use that driver's license to register to vote. So that's the unknown. That's the thing that's very difficult to determine either before or after election. That's why we need to do a pretty detailed audit of these wards and take a look at, okay, who are the people that registered on the same day? Are those legitimate voters? And Charlie, you have to do that pretty fast because people move. So again, this is very difficult to really audit, really difficult to understand the truth, which is why in the end, you can commit fraud and not get caught.
So one more component on this, Senator, that I think is important. Actually, let's play cut 34. This is Eric Hovde describing some of this. Let's play cut 34.
Like many of my supporters, I was shocked by what unfolded on election night. At 1 a.m., I was receiving calls of congratulations, and based on the models, it appeared I would win the Senate race. Then at 4 a.m., Milwaukee reported approximately 108,000 absentee ballots, with Senator Baldwin receiving nearly 90% of those ballots. Statistically, this outcome seems improbable.
And so any other further comment on that, Senator?
Well, again, we knew the number of those ballots early in the evening. It was 108,000 votes. Actually, I think the start of the day, the news 108,000 absentee ballots they're going to process. So it wasn't like those are mystery ballots. And this is central Milwaukee, and you're going to get a very, very high percentage of those ballots going for the Democrat candidate. So again, that wasn't a surprise to me. What you need to do in Wisconsin is just true, which is why Ben Winkler can predict that you're going to have a lead, and then it's going to be eaten into once Milwaukee Central count gets reported. You just need to build up enough lead. I think President Trump was leading by 125,000 votes. So when that ballot dump occurred, again, those are the right number of ballots. We had the chain of custody on those things. He was able to survive that dump. Eric Hovde was just trailing him by about 60,000 votes, and he couldn't survive that onslaught of Democrat votes.